Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Just turned off my fan. So we'll wait a little while. If you're watching this after the fact, check the description below. There should be at least a few time codes there to help get you through the video. Otherwise, we'll sit tight. We're waiting kind of for all of the pipes to get the video through, and we'll start saying hi to folks as they pop into the chat. Oy. I got a whole new catcam and it doesn't work. Well, I don't think it's the camera's fault. I think it's something else. I don't know. Hi, Beata. Hi, Samuel. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, so we'll wait just a little while, and I'll get myself in the right Discord chat channel. Hello, DCD. If you'd like to join Discord, you could go to the URL adafru.it/discord. I changed my mind about what we were doing. I don't know if people noticed that I changed the titles and stuff. It means that the newsletter entry might be a little wrong, but that's what we get for adding it before we actually do the stream, because I never quite know what I want to work on. I decided that the USB host stuff I really needed to hear back from TAC, and I didn't overnight, so I'll wait for them. Chat in French is cat. Nice. Hi, Fede2. Hello, David. In the Discords. Yeah, so on the left here, we've got Discord up here, and then this is the YouTube chat. I guess I could put the Restream chat, but it's usually pretty quiet. Oh, it's almost weekend. Trying to turn the corner. Mark says, good afternoon/evening, everyone. Hoping this storm gets near me gets closer so I can see if my lightning detector works. That sounds exciting. We rarely have lightning here. All right. Looks like we've got some folks. Hi, Gordy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. DCD, hope camping was good. It was good. It's a lot of work. We don't camp that often, and it was a new tent, and traffic and lots of new experiences. It was fun to see Ari, my son, the toddler, enjoy getting he got dirty within like the first 10 minutes. But he enjoyed it, which was good, and I think we'll have worked out some of the kinks for next time. So yeah, that'll be good. All right, so I'll get started here, and hopefully we'll get more people as we go, although it's August and people are doing stuff. Hello, everyone. My name is Scott. I work for Adafruit on CircuitPython. If you don't know what those things are, Adafruit is a hobby electronics open source hardware company out of New York, where they manufacture some of the boards you see and design them all, and then also fulfill your orders from adafruit.com. So if you want to support me, support them by going to adafruit.com. CircuitPython is a reimplementation. Well, it's based on MicroPython, which is a reimplementation of Python for microcontrollers. Microcontrollers are little tiny computers, such as the one under this lid here on the ESP. Good morning, unexpected maker. Yeah, so it's meant to be super low cost, low power computers that are easily accessible, and hopefully a good way to learn how to program them. So that's what Adafruit and CircuitPython is. You know what? I didn't actually look at my checklist, but I think besides the fact that I didn't make a note stock, which reminds me, thank you to DCD for taking time codes for last week. Really appreciate that. Yeah. Hello, Mustafa on LinkedIn. So I was planning on, and the title originally said that I was going to do USB host stuff, and I do have a couple issues that I want to file on TinyUSB. I tried to bug Tac on the Adafruit Slack, and he didn't get back to me overnight. Tac is in Vietnam, so it's usually I work during the day and tell him the things that I have questions about, and then he'll get back to me overnight. But he must be busy or doing something, so didn't hear from him overnight. So that's why I changed my mind. I was like, I don't actually know which direction to go with these things. So I decided one task that did get asked about on the stream last week or the week before that is something that I've been in so much in the weeds of USB hosts that I feel like doing an IDF update. So so the IDF is the SDK that espressif provides for those chips. And we're currently on 4 something, and then they changed a number of things for 5.0, and they have 5.0 and 5.1. And so a community member, Microdev, who does some really good ESP work, has a pending PR that is a little out of date now, but does update CircuitPython to work with 5.0. And we want to do this update to 5.0 and actually 5.1, which is now out for CircuitPython 9. Because the idea with CircuitPython 9 is that we can change a bunch of stuff and then give it some time for people to test it and confirm that, we haven't broken too many things while we do it. Sorry. I don't have a sneeze button, although I could mute myself. Samuel says, I love Circuit Playground Express. You guys are amazing. I just got 4 blue fruits. Great. Glad it's working. I was at a hardware meetup yesterday, and there was a couple of folks that were doing CircuitPython, so that was really cool to hear what their projects were and what their experience with CircuitPython was. So it's cool to, it's starting to get out and all that, which is, it's fun to chat with people about it. I thought maybe you'd be able to see a cat, but nope. Fede2 has a good question. Would this new IDF make it easier to support Bluetooth on the ESP32, S2, and S3? Unfortunately, I don't think so. I think the Bluetooth stack is still pretty much the same. And it has the same, I would assume it still has the same constraint that makes it kind of hard. The main thing holding up ESP's Bluetooth support is that Nimble, which is one of the stacks that the IDF supports, it assumes that you create all of the servers, like the services that you present as a Bluetooth device, that you create those before you get going. Whereas in CircuitPython, we'll create one for the workflow, and then later on you may want to create them in the user code, and it's not really designed for that. And so there's some tweaks that would need to be made to it, which makes it a little hard. And thank you to David for the reminder to talk about CircuitPython Day. So CircuitPython Day is a day we do every year where we try to celebrate CircuitPython. And Kattni's been putting together a great schedule for next week. It's a week from today, CircuitPython Day is. And so it's basically streams the whole day, I think. I haven't actually looked at it. So this stream, the deep dive will actually be a little bit later than it normally is. So instead of starting at 2 next week, we're going to start at 2:30, I think. And let's just pull it up on the blog. And I'll switch screens. Unexpected Maker says no BLE on this too. But I'm just thinking about the whole family here. CircuitPython. So there is a new CircuitPython 8.2.3 release that just fixes some protomatter stuff. So here's the schedule. CP is CircuitPython. Yep. Magnetron fricandle. Hopefully I said that somewhere near correct. Yeah, and the Discord server is the URL adafru.it/discord. MicroPython have stopped on IDF 5.02 as they have lots of BLE issues on 5.1 at the moment. Interesting. Yeah, lots of things mean different things. I don't think BLE issues would stop us, but that's a good point, and maybe we do want to update to 5.0 first, and then move to 5.1 later. Okay, so here's the schedule for CircuitPython Day. So we can see John Park's going to kick us off at 10 Eastern, which is 7 my time. And then special 3D edition of Hangout. So a lot of the shows that happen during the week are getting shuffled to Friday next week. So this is like 3D Hangouts is usually on Wednesdays, but now it'll be on Friday next week. Beeps and Boops with Synth.io, which is going to be super fun with Paul Cutler, is at 11 a.m. There's a CircuitPython Day game jam stream with Foamy Guy, who's also a deep diver. So check that out. Matrix Portal message board build with Maker Melissa. And then 2:30 Eastern, a CircuitPython Day chat with Jeff, Dan, and Katney. Hi, Quirky. Good to see you after a long time. Hey, yeah, I'm happy to be back. Special edition John Park's workshop at 4 Eastern, which is normally Tuesdays or Thursdays. I forget which day John does that. Deep dive, what you're watching now will be at 5:30 Eastern, which is 2:30 Pacific. And then we'll be followed by Show and Tell and Ask an Engineer after that. So just a heads up that we're going to start a little bit later next week, but there's going to be lots of stuff on Friday for CircuitPython Day. Okay, so we have this open. So what I thought we'd do is, there's kind of like two major things that we want to do. So when we're shifting CircuitPython to another kind of like major version number, so from 8 to 9, for example, we want, like, that's an opportunity for us to really destabilize things and also change some APIs if we want to. The main forcing function for going from 8 to 9 right now is that we're planning on updating, well, we're working on updating, and by we, I mean Dan. Dan is working on updating the MicroPython core that we use in CircuitPython, updating to MicroPython 1.19, which involves an MPY format change. So they don't change that major version number with MPY versions, but we do in CircuitPython. That's why when you see bundles and libraries and stuff, you see like 6x, 5x, 7x. Like we build versions of MPYs for every major version of CircuitPython, even if you can actually use them across boundaries. We just want to teach people every major version, you've got to get the MPYs that match, because sometimes they won't work across versions. Hello, Dylan. Oh, and Gordy says JP's product pick of the week is on Tuesday and JP's workshop is on Thursday. Unexpected Maker says 4.4 to 5.0 is a big change. 5.0 to 5.1 is a simpler challenge, I think. MicroPython is on 5.02 now, but there are PSRAM issues where PSRAM only uses half the amount available. Interesting. And Bill says he has PTSD from debugging PyStack issues on ESP. Yeah, I'm glad you could make it, Dylan. Thanks. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, so what I thought I would do is if we look in pull requests here, and we actually look down here to the second oldest one, we can see it's update ESP-IDF to version 5.0. And this was done by microdev in September of last year. So it's been a long time coming, but we did decide 8.2.3 is out, but not for the PicoPad. From main to 8.2.3. Yeah, so, sorry, if you've ever watched these before, you know that I do get a little distracted. So David's question is like, there's a board that was added after 8.2 was released, and so they're on main but not on 8.2. Those ones, if we do want to get them on the stable release, they would have to be put into the 8.2 branch, which yeah is a little bit annoying, but that's kind of the world we're in right now, and it's also a little bit of a forcing function for people to use the latest for newer boards. Like main is really not that destabilized yet, but you know, we're hoping to get like this IDF update in, and then also the MicroPython merge. Okay, so this is update ESP-IDF to the release 5.0 branch. It's from September. And we can see that like there's a bunch of milestone changes. But we need IDF 5. Yeah, and as we turn the corner to 9.0 alpha, and this is in February, and it's August now. It took us a while to get to this point. The PS RAM issue is now resolved as March. I don't know what that was. I don't think this person actually done this. So I pinged it on July, and microdev like comes and goes a bit. So which is totally fine. They're not a paid contributor, they're just a community member. But this is me kind of wanting to pick it up. So I might be able to leave this open and push to it. We could try that. It's in microdev's update-IDF branch. So let's try to pull it down. Here's my OBS output. This is what's happening when I try to do catcam. If you're an OBS expert, this is why catcam is not working. Is I'm getting this device or resource busy, and I don't know what's causing that. Okay, so let's find a new tab here. How about this one? And I was working on this USB reset stuff. Do I have stuff that I actually need to change? It looks like I do. So I'm gonna just, before I move, I'm gonna get this stuff committed. I was just doing some debugging. This is debugging, this is debugging. This is a fix. These are better error messages. Debugging, debugging, debugging. I think I'm actually gonna leave this and see if I can't just move branches, because like one is the IMX port and one is the IDF, the ESP port. So hopefully it'll be okay. So let's do get remote v, and I've actually like have a lot of different remotes. This is a good example of why I recommend naming your remotes based on the person whose it is. So we're just gonna fetch from microdev, and we're going to git switch to update-IDF. These local changes would be rewritten. Commit or stash them. Okay, I'll just commit these. So let's go stage, 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 and then git commit USB debugging. And it's on this USB reset branch. And I need to be on my virtual environment so that the check works. I think. Oh, and it's going to add these translations, which is fine. And I need my signing key. Oh, can I not move that off the screen? Oh, you know what I could do? I can go like this. Sorry, I'm getting a password. Password. Paste it, and I'm gonna just highlight this and copy something into my paste buffer so I don't actually accidentally paste my password on screen. All right. So I've committed, and now let's do the switch again. And now we see git log, and we're not a repository. Not a git repository. Ugh. My submodules are pretty messed up. Make fetch submodules. Ah. Unexpected Maker asks, is there a reason Dan is stopping at 119 and not 120 for the merge for 9.0? Just curious. So the plan is that Dan will do 119 and then Jeff's going to do 120 because one of the major changes that is in 120 is something that Jeff's aware of. And now I see my camera is frozen. Let's see if it comes back to life. That's a lovely... You could, like, the stream looks okay. Just the Magewell is not happy. Bill says, submodules are always messed up. I just nuke them every time I go between vastly different branches. Yeah, it's annoying, but my submodules sometimes have more state than that, which is unfortunate. Like sometimes I'll actually like do edits in submodules. Open, can I just... Properties. How do I poke it? I think we'll crash if I unplug. Yeah, see, so here's an example where like I have changes in tiny USB. I'll just stash these. I'll climb under my desk in just a moment and unplug the camera. No, it looks like it's still... There we go. Sweet. Now if only I could get catcam working. Catcam, come back, come back. Ugh. Catcam just does not like me. I don't know what the deal is. Yeah, my submodules got so messed up. All right, well, at least facecam is fixed. Maybe I just need to get a mage wall again. Do it that way. Okay. Remote error. SDK. Am I like half on? I wonder what branch I'm actually on. You know what I always say, and I haven't said this in a long time because I haven't been streaming? Get status. Get status as your friend. Like, because it's in a world where it has fetch submodules, even though it's like fetch all submodules now. So like the first thing I'm planning on doing is rebasing the changes that microdev made. So what does get status show? Get status shows fatal, not a git repository. Great. Why does it crash? I've observed you doing it several times. Yeah, well, get status is not helpful if it breaks. Get submodule deinit f USB descriptor. Does that fix get status? Yes, it does. Oh boy. We are in like half land. Because we're not on the USB reset world. Let's just see if our switch works now. There, now we switched fully, and our get status is a lot cleaner. So now if we get log, so we can see microdev's commits. Oh, co-authored by Casey Webb, nice. Oh, and there's a merge. Let's do, how adventurous do we feel? Should we git fetch Adafruit, and let's do git rebase I Adafruit main. Okay. So that doesn't look too bad. So these look like all of, this look like all of the commits from microdev or the folks that were working on it. This is the like interactive part of the rebase thing. So what is rebase? Rebase is what I like to think of as like replaying or redoing commits on top of a new branch. Or like these changes were originally done in September of 22 on an old version of CircuitPython. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take all the commits that happened after that, and we're going to just redo them on top of the newer version of CircuitPython, the current version of CircuitPython. So that's what rebase does, and it also gives you this interface where you can change the structure of the commits as well. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so now what we're doing is we're somewhere in the middle. So we could see like, oh, we're trying to auto merge all this stuff, and now we're stopped. So again, and you could see they could not apply 5 EBD, and I guess we don't have our list. But if we get status, we can see that the last command done is update to 5.0, and now we've got all of these other things to do. Quarky says, think of rebase as Control-C, Control-V on Git history. Yeah, kind of. Mark says, rebase is how I always end up messing up my PRs and having to ask Dan for help. Oh, and it looks like my camera died again, doesn't it? I wonder if it's too hot in here for the camera. Maybe that's the problem. It's in the 80s. I could turn the fan on, but I don't know. Maybe I need to slap a heat sink on the converter. Anyway, that's pretty much what I look like right now. Maybe if I talk later, I'll do it again. Most I do before chickening out is cherry pick. Rebase is essentially cherry picking in order. So like this is the equivalent of cherry picking that first commit, and now I have to deal with the consequences of it. But it's important to note that like if you see and get status, like it has this new message of like you're in the middle of a rebase. Like here's how to get out of this special state is to like skip this patch or abort, and abort will set me back to the original thing. Yeah. So Unexpected Maker says, same. I constantly screw up my repos and I had to kill them in a refork. My GitHub foo is very, very poor. So the thing with GitHub and like PRs and stuff is like you can always, so a branch is just a like label for a particular commit. And so if you mess a branch up, you can just like change it to point to something else that is correct. So we like I'll see people like open a PR and close a PR and open a PR and then close a PR. It's like no, like you can leave the PR open because a PR will follow a branch. Let me just get back to somebody. So now what we have to do is we have to do all of the merge fixes for these. And I always get confused. This says deleted by them. I get really confused about which is ours and theirs, like some terms that they use as well. So that really definitely screws me up. All of these frozen things, these are all submodules, and I'm actually just going to ignore those. Ignore those for now. What if I wanted those to not show up, I would do like the make fetch submodules sort of thing. But I know that I don't actually have to do anything for those. What it's really asking me to do is like these, this set of stuff is what I need to be focused on. So let's take a look and see. Sublime merge will show us here what we have to do. So, and this is like a tiny preview of what Dan is having to deal with. So this is all I use a lot of git reset. I almost never git reset. Yeah, submodules are tough. Yeah, I'm definitely in that boat. That one looks kind of hard. Hello, Sari from Ukraine. This lib protomatter one, I might actually run make fetch all submodules just to do that. So we should have this command because it's in the newer version of CircuitPython. So this should handle the protomatter one, for example. Like, protomatter is not something that we're going to want to change for that. So this looks like a kind of a duplicate where ESP camera support was added but under a different name. So we probably don't want that. And here again is like a parallel display camera conflict. So we'll have to take a look at that. Here's a to-do in V5, remove the following include. Okay, so we'll take a quicker look at. Actually, you know what? You know what I haven't looked at before? What happens if we click resolve? Ooh, okay. So here is, I think this looks like kind of Adafruit main, and this looks like, it looks like the IDF update. What do we do now? I'm new. We're updating the branch that updates the ESP-IDF to 5.0. And sorry, my camp's frozen. I don't know why it stopped working, but I could turn it off and you can see a little bit more on my desk, but I basically look like that looking at the screen. Okay, so we can just confirm this by going to the source, and we are in ports espressif CMakeLists. So let's go ports espressif. Oh, I hit the wrong one. Ports espressif CMakeLists. So this is the current version. So this here's a change 7 months ago that's move ESP32 camera to ESP camera. So this is one of the things we're seeing. Fede2 points out that there's a act command that can run GitHub actions locally. I just push in. I do the another push, another push, another push. Detached head scares all. I know my cam needs a reset. I'll do it again, but I don't think it may not last long. I've already done it once. How about now? There we go. No audio means no closed captions. I think you can hear me now. Confirm. The cat was meowing at me too. Should we see if catcam works? Should we go for broke? Oh my gosh, catcam works. Something happened. We've got catcam working. We've got audio working again. I don't know what happened. Thank you, Tim, for confirming you can hear and see me. Vinny, you're gonna jump up? Actually, both cats are... What was it, last week? Last week I had 0 cats in with me, and now I've got both. Oh, that's lovely. If I tap my hand. Come on. Come up. I'll hold her up once she jumps on my lap. And then you can see both kitties. Ready? Cat. This is a cat interlude for everyone. I'm thinking about moving out of this space at home into a separate office space, and I'm a little sad that I won't have cats to deal with. Although that's both a blessing and a curse. It's kind of annoying as well. Oh, I feel like I should be on this screen so you can see Spook in the cat cam. Meow. Could you hear her? All right. I am thinking I need to get a heat sink for that, because I'm using an HDMI to USB converter for the main camera, and it's been freezing up, and I think it is because it's getting too hot. It's 83 in here now, and it's already gone down like half a degree with the fan on. Yeah, my cat commercial break. I have a feeling, because I don't usually have that problem with it. I bet that's what it was. It's just, I touched it. I touched the converter when I plugged it back in, and it was it's definitely hot. So need to have a fan on it or something. Okay, and that concludes the message from our cat sponsor. I don't know. Okay, so let's go back to the desktop, and now we know that this CircuitPy ESP camera is the way that we want to go for naming. So we are going to take this bit, and then we're going to want this bit over here. So how do I pick? This one? Can you tell I haven't used this before? How do I pick it? Next conflict, previous conflict, next conflict. It's probably a hotkey. Or this. There we go. Gotta click the arrow. Okay, so that's what we want. Save and stage. Let's go to the protomatter one. Let's not do. Let's do this makefile one. So again, here we see parallel display and ESP camera. So this is a little bit trickier in the sense that we want this bit, but we want to call it ESP camera instead. So we want this change here. We're getting this change anyway. But this also adds parallel display support, which apparently we didn't have. This change looks okay. That's okay. So there's more changes here. So what we'll do is we'll go through, do all this merge stuff, and then we'll start building it and see if it builds. Yeah, so I don't know what to do about this build one. Let's just collapse that for now. or the protomatter one. Let's look at this ULP change. And here we are, ULP.risk5 versus all of this other stuff. And I'm going to assume it's the other stuff that we want. This seems too simplistic to me. Yeah, so these are the changes that were made for, these are the changes that were made for 5.0. Tyus says, oh my gosh, parallel display support for ESP-S3 is on my need list. Great. Okay, so let's see. So here's a to-do. So let's, again, like do a little bit of both, where we do that, because we do want this error not implemented, but we'll do the rest of the to-do. Although it seems to me that, like, yeah, I guess we might want to check for the ULP as well. That's okay. This is just a first pass. Okay, next one. I don't see enable ULP interrupt. Again, this looks much newer than this. So we'll take that one. Save and stage. Next one. Save def config. I wonder why that was deleted. This is ESP32 defaults. Should we try that? It's possible we'll want to delete it, but oh. I think we just want this left version. And if not, we can fix it. Save and stage. Let's resolve the config port stuff. So we want the newer version of ESP camera. This we want, and this we want. Save and stage again. Is SDK config file auto-generated? Comment on top. I wrote a script that tries to take, so when you do a build, it mashes all the SDK configs together. And I made a script that tried to piece it out. So kconfig is designed to just like have one version for whatever. But what we want is like stuff that's common to all ESP boards should be configured commonly, and stuff that's for specific boards should be configured for specific boards. And so there's a script that I wrote that splits out SDK config settings into like different files that we then mash together during our board builds. So that in particular ESP32 one seems like it should have stuff in it, but it's probably an easy shortcut to just empty the file, because there will still be defaults. They're just not laid out anywhere for that. So it's possible we'll just find that we're setting stuff that doesn't exist in 5.0. Okay, so let's do a git status again and see where we're at. So we have both modified. So ESP-IDF, obviously we want to change to be the newer one. ESP32 camera, we probably don't want to take the newer one. We want to take the current one. And then I2S LCD driver is deleted. And that seems right to me. That it should be deleted. Let's try that. So I am gonna go through all the commits and then see what breaks. ESP-IDF. So this is just different commits. I don't know how we select each side. So what we'll do is so those are submodules, and submodules are tricky. They're actually like files that have the commit in them, and you've got to decide which commit to be at. So if we go to ports, espressif, ESP-IDF, and just git log, we're in CircuitPython customizations, which is the head of CircuitPython 5.0. So let's see if we can find where this is. Microdev 1 ESP-IDF is my guess. It's either there. Actually, you know what we could do is we could do git remote the origins. Okay, so we're in Adafruit ESP-IDF, and then let's take a look at that branch. So we have our 4.4 CircuitPython branch, and there should be a branch for 5.0, but I'm tempted generally to move us over to the plain one. I don't know. Yeah, so here's the CircuitPython v5 thing. So if we go to commits, so here's an update to 501, and then here's the CircuitPython customizations commit. That is what we're checked out to, which we could just leave, but let's just take a peek. Like, this is a fix that I thought should be fixed. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so those are things that still apply. I think we just leave it as is. So let's just leave it as is for now and get kind of like the existing thing working. And my camera froze again. I don't know why it's so hot right now. I bet catcam doesn't work anymore either. Okay, so let's move out of this, and it's where we want, so we're just gonna go git add ESP-IDF. Now let's move into 32 camera. I wonder if I have a heatsink that could help. Handy. I wonder if there's a fan in there. Maybe there's like a fan in there that died or got full of cat hair. Could be the case. Okay, so where are we here? Merge upstream updates for ESP camera. I bet that's not what we want. I think it's ESP32 camera. So it was on commit 80B. Because I know Jeff's been doing a lot of work here. So here's 80B. So we are behind. So let's just copy this and we'll check it out. Okay. That's fine. I know. So both modify ESP camera, but I think that's what we want. So we'll git add. We can always redo any of this. Whoop. Okay, so protomatter is wrong. And again, this is a like, we probably don't want to be on. Like this is just old protomatter. So we could just go to Adafruit CircuitPython, ports, or no, live protomatter. And you can see this is the start of the commit. So we'll just copy that. And we'll change git checkout. Okay. And that looks right. This is why it's pretty common if somebody does do a rebase, they may mess up, and I may mess up the submodules. Okay, so everything here looks good except for this build file has changed. I'm not sure why. Let's look at it this way. So CircuitPython did a bunch of externalization of things. So this is upstream, this is the branch. And actions, upload artifact. I don't think we want anything from the right-hand side. Fetch IDF tool cache. This says I gave up trying to do ESP builds on Windows. And that's where we're at, is that this is, oh no, this is build espressif. But this is the Windows build. Oh, that's not well lined up. I don't want this. I don't think it's there then. Okay. That's just the conflict we're on. Okay, so that looks good. We'll go with it. Now, if I was good, I'd try to build, but I'm not that good. I think I'm more willing to just do it at the end. Like fix up stuff at the end. So let's do rebase continue. And that's what we'll call it still. And so now we've moved forward in time. If we do git status. And sorry, I'm frozen. I'm trying to think of if I can think of where I would have a heat sink. Assuming that's the problem. Now it's a lot cooler. It's just not. Not too happy. Oh, there we go again. And you can still hear me. Weird, like last week it didn't have a problem. Okay, so now we have a bunch of board config changes that we're going to have to merge in together. It's interesting that there's a deleted by us board config. But my guess is that these are all the same sort of methodical changes. Audio and video is still working. Great. Thank you, DCD. Okay, so we did update the IDF. We did conditionally include ESP-PSRAM. Now we're trying to update to 501. Okay, so let's keep going. So let's just say resolve ESP32S2 SPI-RAM support. I assume we want that, but I don't actually know. Like, is that a thing in 5.0 or not? So maybe what we do is we do what I said we weren't going to do. And let's move it over. I want to save it, but I don't want to stage it yet. Save without staging. And let's just, which board was that? That was probably this first one. Okay, so we're in a new ESP-IDF. So let's go ESP ports, espressif, EDIF. And let's actually deactivate our current virtual environment because we're going to do install. Actually, we have to export IDF path and then do well, I'm going to do install because I haven't done this for 5.0 yet. So this will download all the new tooling. GCC 11. Nice. That's better than GCC 8. Okay, now we'll do export. And now let's try make board equals that. Okay, so we'll just do, we have a couple, actually we could do pip install our requirements dev. So there's some, so the ESP-IDF sets up its own Python environment for building ESP stuff, but then there's also requirements that CircuitPython uses. So that's what I just installed, is the CircuitPython stuff we need. So it looks like it's just like checking more stuff out. Because it's like getting my copy of ESP-IDF 5 actually up to date. Which is good. How are folks doing? Do we think catcam's working still? Yep. Awesome. Spook is sleeping. There, that is spook cam, and then Vin is up over there. And there's the fan. So that, now that's Vin cam. Okay, so we didn't succeed. The following Python requirements are not satisfied. Requirement is cryptography less than 36.1 and greater than 2.1, but we have cryptography 4.41.03 installed. And I wonder if that's something that we just Yeah, we just installed it. Cryptography 3602. I don't know why, but let's see if we can't downgrade. Pip install cryptography less than 36.1. Maybe that'll work. Does not turn. pyOpenSSL 23.2 requires cryptography greater than 38. So maybe we do. Did requirements dev change for this branch? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think it did. So I wonder if we could figure out. It seems like we're gonna have to use an older version of pyOpenSSL, which generally I don't like to do. I like to be on the newest one, but it's this like what I think of as the JavaScript world, where like you have all these pin dependencies, and you've just got to figure out how to like work together. 23.2. So cryptography maximum version has been increased to 4.1. Maximum version has increased. Maximum version. Minimum version is now 35. Minimum version here is now 38. And we need to use 36. So we actually want to use, this is the version that we want to use for pyOpenSSL. Is it 2 equals or 1? 2. Requirement already satisfied, but now we should be able to say okay. Let's see if it works. Externally managed environment is being enforced. Yeah, it's tough. No such file. ESP-32S2 ULP. Does not exist anymore. Yes, it does. So FD is a rest replacement for find, I think. So I wonder what we want. I wonder if we want sock ULP or ESP-32S2 ULP. So this is in IMX land, but we'll get switched over here. Ports, espressif, common HAL, ESP ULP, ULP.c, ULP, and ULP RISC-V. Yeah, Fede2 says, I'm kind of liking some of the Rust replacements for traditional tools, specifically find and grep. Yeah, I think it's super cool that they're redoing and modernizing a lot of command line tools. Like I use RG now instead of AG, and RG is ripgrep, and I think it's written in Rust as well. Okay, so I think this is just a missing include path. So if we go to our make file, and we see that we're missing ULP RISC-V. Where did we find it? We found it in ULP FSM include. So my guess, was there 2 ULPs? Yeah. So we're just going to want. And, you know, stuff like this is stuff that could be fixed. No problem, Unexpected Maker. Have a good weekend, too. Thanks for stopping by. See, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, and so, like, I'm not sure whether I should continue to fix issues. Contents of ESP-S2 ULP RISC-V has been merged with ULP RISC-V. .h include the latter to avoid the warning. I wonder if this is fixed in a further. Let's take a peek at like, is this a new fix or something that I'm gonna have to fix anyway? So if we look at commits here, yeah, like we're not down here to this update ULP implementation thing yet. Yeah, so here's the change we just did, and here's changes here. So okay, so we don't want to do this. Like, this is taken care of later. So we really need to get through this merge first. Okay. So we can do these, and we'll take our best guess and keep going. So this is what we're going to discard. Actually, leaving that would mean that we get a conflict. We might get a conflict later, which is annoying. Okay, so let's spy RAM support. We'll just save it and stage it. Cancel. Huh. I wrote a somewhat nifty search wrapper using RG plus FZF. Great for large code bases or even searching through all your repos when you're looking for a snippet. What is FZF? I don't know what that is. I know RG, but I don't know the other one. Resolve. LWIP hostname. Sure, I don't care. Oh, dang it. I hit the wrong button. So here we have ESP camera. Optimization flags. I don't know why that is. This must be a size issue. So let's just do the camera update, and we'll include the PSRAM size. FZF is a completion UI written in Go. So let's just do the same thing here. We'll use the newer version, but update the camera. It's totally possible that, like, later on it'll update the camera. Like, maybe there's a commit that does that here. No, it doesn't. Fuzzy search, which is pretty cool. S3 spam, SRAM support. This looks like more like I want. I don't know. We'll probably end up regenerating all of these anyway. This is just a first pass, just a first pass, just a first pass. Fix it later. I'm gonna get real good at this merge thing. And then there was one that I hit stage that I shouldn't have. So it probably has the diff markers in it still. Yeah, this one. Unstage. And, oh, come on. Can I edit it here? No. Okay. Feather S342. So we need to go in here and do boards. Feather S342. This line down, delete it. There we go. So we'll stage that as well. We'll get status it up. We'll see that we don't have anything unmerged. And now we'll rebase, continue again. Fuzzy finder. Now let's take a look at that after the stream. All right, where are we at now? 3 commands done, 9 remaining. Get status. Changes not staged for commit. This says we don't have anything. Why? So why did it stop us? If there's changes that are not staged for commit. I see the previous cherry pick is now empty, possibly due to conflict resolution. If you wish to commit it anyway, use git commit allow empty. Otherwise, use git rebase skip. So the command we did is conditionally include ESP-RAM and fix sdkconfig. So it seems like that's been fixed already, so I think we just want to git respace. Skip. Again, we can always fix it later. All right. So here we have partition table changes that we probably don't want to do. Oh, it's growing it to be bigger. I wonder if it didn't fit. I'm going to do the current version, because if we could figure out how to get it... Oh, I hit stage again. Because that's something I'd really like to test. So that's something that I would like to do later, because I really would prefer it if we didn't have to change it. So anytime we change the partition table, we risk like corrupting the user file system on the update. So that's something I don't want to take lightly to do. So I'd rather like not do that if I could get away with it. Okay, so this is partitions 4 MB, no UF2. Right, so it would affect a bunch of boards. IDF config, partitions 4, no UF2. I don't. If we have to do it later, we can do it later. Like, we can always go back and reference the older commits as well. Get status, and now we can continue again. All right, and now we have more problems. So this is update ULP implementation. Let's resolve this. So this added S2 and S3 support by giving it the generic. I think we want this side. Maybe not. And halt. Okay, so here's halt based on type. This looks better to me because it is checking that the right state machine is, or the right ELP implementation is being used. So again, this is like the ESP32 defaults being like trimmed down to basically nothing again, which kind of annoying. Where are the ULP settings on the left-hand side here? Are they nowhere to be found? I don't know. This is why, like, changes like this are like the ULP hardly anybody uses. So, like, will somebody even notice if we accidentally break it? I don't know. Alright. I think we're good. And I'm moving still. Okay. Now we're in refactor board config files. Is this before I wrote that script? It might be. It might be before I did that. Okay, let's hit resolve. Can we take both this one and that one? Sure. So this doesn't, this is spy RAM, and this is default PS RAM. My guess would be this way. Sure. Let's try it. You pondered if this was before you wrote that script. Check history? Yeah, I could. I could, or I could just keep going. Let's do this one, but also this one. Maybe? My guess is that we're going to run that script anyway to regenerate everything. I think I even... Yeah, it's been a while. I'm going to do that. Let's look that up. So let's find my browser window. So what I'm thinking of is... Great. Is GitHub going down? It's back. All right. The script I'm talking about is ports, espressif, tools, update sdkconfig, or generate. Yeah, update seems right. Yeah, so this has like, these settings go in the opt file, these settings go in the target file, and these are like prefixes. Board settings, flash settings, Beely settings. So we may want to even update this for ESP5 as well. Let's keep going. I don't know how many we have left. Get status, we're ready to go. Most of them auto merged. We have 3 remaining, which is good. Get rebase continue. I don't care. Usually what I'll do is if I do want to redo the commits, I'll actually get it all like smoothly rebasing first, and then I can go back and juggle them if I want to. I'm not super persnickety about like structure of commits and stuff, so. Okay, what's this do? This is, oh, it's, RGB matrix uses supervisor allocation. And the other thing we'll do is like once I'm done with this merge, we'll then go back, we could go back and look at all the changes as well. So let's just keep going. S2 and S3, and ta-da! We are now updated. I think I'm gonna actually call this, well, I'm gonna leave the branch name because if I push it to microdev's repo, which I might be able to do, and that'll update the PR, which would be kind of nice, I'm going to want to keep the same branch name. Okay, so since we're here, we've got about 20-25 minutes left. Let's go back to the board that we were trying to build and just see what happens. So we've gotten up to date with the 5.0 update. And now we can take a look at this. So here's the same warning that we had earlier. I'm just going to do a quick clean just to make sure that I'm on the very latest version of the branch. Also note that I'm not doing any J command. I've never had great luck doing J, which does some make tasks in parallel. I've never had great luck with that on the ESP-IDF, so I'm just like not doing that. It's going to take longer to compile, but it's also going to make it less likely to break, like make it more reliable. Okay, so we're still having this problem that we're getting this warning, which is fine. Warnings are great. Let's go to common hal ULP, and maybe we just try to it's saying, it's being a little vague because it's saying don't include ESP32S2 ULP risk 5, just do ULP risk 5. So ULP risk 5H. Oh, ULP. P. So there's a regular include, a specific include, and a generic one. My guess is they want us to do this. So it's probably like that. And it's probably that for S2 and S3 that have the risk 5s, we could just include it once. But because I don't, like the ESP32 doesn't have that mode, I'd rather just have it per target. So let's see if that fixes it. My weather display crashed. Oop, I just hit reset again. I really like this weather display, but I don't catch all the errors that cause problems. So I have to hit the reset button. Did I hit it? Is it going? All right, unknown type name. Here's the, I showed this on show and tell before. It's like, is it gonna show me? Oh, sorry, that's cats. Gonna show the weather or is it gonna show a crash? Trying not to hit the reset button. It's possible that the like weather service I'm using is down. I don't see anything there. I was hoping it was gonna magically appear. Still crashed. Must be having a problem. Key error. Okay, so we're in parallel bus and we don't have the I2S LCD config or handle types. So let's go there, parallel bus. And, oh, but we're in the .h. And this is trying to include I2S LCD driver. So let's just do a ripgrep. And it looks like it is in, oh, interesting, ESP-IoT solution. Components bus. I did see that. So we are including I2S LCD driver. I remember seeing it. We don't need that. Make file. Oh, you know what? There's this. That could be the problem. It could be including the wrong file. So let's delete it and try again. Desktop, thank you. At least you got some catcam. Inka Blinka. One of the things about key error handler is that it'll just say key error, which is not as helpful as the actual traceback without the error handler sometimes. Yeah, I did get a traceback too. You don't have Discord now, you can search for ripgrep FCF search on GitHub, it's the top result. I'll keep trying to get this to refresh so you can see what I'm doing. See my nice weather display. It looks like it's going. I could do V1. It'll show us what it's compiling. So these are the sorts of things that it would normally do in parallel, but to be on the safe side, I like to do it not in parallel with the ESP-IDF. Okay, we have about 20 minutes left, so let me know if you have any questions. Unknown target, ESP-IDF, mdns, libmdns.a. What could that be about? So there's two things to look at for what libraries get linked or that get built for the IDF. One is there's a big long string somewhere here, or a big long list of stuff. So here we see binary Wi-Fi blobs, binary blobs, and then components. And I bet mdns is in here. Yeah, there's mdns there. And then components link, add Bluetooth, add ULP, add ESP or PSRAM, expand it out to the actual directory, and then expanded ends up in the link command here. So the question is like, did ndns move or did we fail to actually build it? CMakeLists. So I think this component list is similar. It also has mdns. Although here, look, extra component directories, esp-protocols, components, ndns. So I wonder if the location of the lib.a moved. So what if we do an fd lib ndns.a, and that should be in build. Some of these newer tools will ignore get ignored stuff. Feather S2 reverse TFT ESP-IDF. Oh. Backwards. So it didn't get built at all. I wonder if we could do a fuzzy search. No. Little string insert of regex. You could also use glob. Nothing still. All right, so let's take a look in ESP-IDF components. So it looks like, yeah, so there's no mdns directory anymore, so it's not going to be there. We saw it in ESP, it was ESP protocol, wasn't it? ESP protocols. Oh, you know what? I think they moved it out of, they moved it into a different directory. So here's protocols. Yeah. So does that mean that I artificially restricted it? So we're doing the reverse TFT. S2 reverse TFT, ESP-IDF, and ESP IoT solution. don't know where or how we would have built that. Make file. So let's, the next thing I want to look at is my FD tool is a re-implementation of find, like done in Rust, I think, if I remember right. It's not a wraparound find, it's a replacement for find. So let's take a look at this commit here. It's a lot of changes. I only update once every 15 minutes. Yep. I only do once every 15 minutes as well. I catch some errors, just not all of them. Yeah, so the ESP-protocols, they split it out. They did some reorganization. MDNS here, and then in the make file, how do we handle the MDNS changes? So there's this new include path. Parallel display. So that's interesting. There's no MDNS stuff here. So maybe it doesn't work. Thanks, Fetty2. Yeah, Git lesson. There's lots to learn with Git. You never stop. It's kind of a giant thing. All right, we've got 15 more minutes or so. If you have questions, feel free to ask them. Otherwise, I'm just trying to figure out this MDNS stuff. How do I get an MDNS library out of this? It's in protocols. ELP stuff. Yeah, the thing, yeah. Just thinking about, like, they expect the world to be CMake, and I've resisted CMake, one, because I don't like the language that it has, and two, it, I want to, if we switch build systems, I want to do it for everything. I really like that, although our system is super clunky, it's pretty clunkily, is like uniformly clunky. If that makes any sense. And so, like, it's just a lot of work. Oh, it's interesting. So here's a cryptography limitation here, in requirements as well. So let's figure out how I am building these. Components, link. I actually need to build them though too. IDF CMake targets. That sounds promising. IDF CMake targets, Ninja IDF CMake targets. Okay, so it just looks like this was never, the protocol stuff was never actually supported. So what we need to do is IDF stamp. Depends on that. A Ninja C. build ESP-IDF. Where is, do we call, I think we call CMake. Yeah, here we go. So we call CMake to build the sdkconfig. With all of our defaults. So we need to do something similar for protocols to get the protocol thing. CMake s dot sdkconfig. Let's take a look at this protocol thing. You know, there's the ESP camera thing too. Probably has a similar structure. Protocol. ESP-protocols. See, like CMake will like merge all these things together. Like there's this extra protocol thing. I wonder if the Ninja file has it. So there's two steps that we do. We're doing the CMake call to generate the SDK config and to set everything up. And then like CMake is two steps. It's like one step generates a Ninja file and the second step actually runs Ninja. Ninja you can think of as kind of Make, but like even lower level. Output debug info. So, SDK config. My guess is, so let's look in this build Ninja file, which is super big, I assume. And let's just look for mdns. Nothing. So like there's this CMakeList thing that we set to include the extra component. But our CMake command is not build feather reverse TFT. So these are all CircuitPython stuff. Yeah, so we're not getting any stuff in there. And I did clean. Huh. So I would expect that like this CMakeList inclusion, extra components stirs. I wonder if yeah, so that's how ESP32 camera is being built as well. Is by setting extra componenters. So if we look at esp-protocols, components, mdns, CMakeLists, config mdns networking socket. I would think that it would show up in there. I don't know. I think it's time for me to take a break and come back to it with fresh eyes. One thing I will do is I'm going to fix, I'll commit these two, git add the common how thing, and it's a removal. Bill has a good question. Will there be some methodology in retesting everything, or do we just wait for issues? I'll do like smoke tests, but the true test will be getting people to try it. So like I'll make sure all the boards build. I'll make sure that everything that I think should work will work. And then I'll commit it. Because I think we had this conversation before. It is like it is really valuable to get it out to a broader audience to get tested. So main with like early 9.0 is not going to be stable, and that's just the way it is. You know, we won't make a release and call it stable until we feel confident that it is pretty stable. I appreciate you. Bill says, I will be using main as always, so expect me to find a few new at least. Yep. Yeah. That's super helpful. I really appreciate it. And, you know, I find a lot of stuff too because I'm always working off main. So there's already, like, there's this toy hacker board that is, like, inside the toy and really you need the web workflow for. There are some changes that Lemore wants to make for that. So that's a project that I can do after this update that will kind of like keep me working in ESP land and just like testing it. And I'm sure like issues will come around that as well. Yep. But that's a good question. There's definitely a world where we could be more methodical about it. But testing with external devices is like quite tricky. Automated testing with external devices is quite tricky. It's something I'd love to see, but yeah, it's really hard, especially when it's all networking stuff. DJ Devin3 says 8.0 was really buggy, and an important part of smoothing it out was all the testing reports. I don't remember 8.0 being that buggy, but maybe I was gone. I fully expect 9.0 to be pretty buggy because we're updating the IDF and we're going to be updating CircuitPython. So that's going to be a lot of churn soon, but it'll be good. Okay, let's go back here. Thank you all for joining me for this deep dive. Reminder, next week will be at 2:30, so a half an hour later than normal. As part of CircuitPython Day festivities that start early in the morning, 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. So keep an eye out for all that. We'll have a day full of streaming stuff. And yeah, I'm excited that catcam is back. And keep an eye on my GitHub and the Discords if you want to follow along with this IDF update stuff. If you want to support me, and you can do so by supporting Adafruit by going to adafruit.com and purchasing hardware there. One thing that's new, and I think it is released, but maybe not. I don't always keep track. There is a Metro S3 which is super handy for development. So if you're into the espressif world, like this sort of thing could be quite handy. So check that out if you want to support me in Adafruit. If you want to join me and a bunch of other cool people on Discord, you can go to the URL adafru.it/discord and check that out, and we'll see you there. And with that, I will switch to catcam, and maybe I'll move it so I can pet Spook, although I could pet Vin too. And we'll see you next week. So let's go to cats. And maybe I'll pet both cats. I was hooked. Oh, stretch. You should have seen the look here that Spook gave me when she started meowing, saying, "What, you're gonna pet her?" All right. That's cat time. Thank you all. We'll see you next week.